Good afternoon. I'm Ruth Reinhardt, and welcome to Conversations Off the Couch. They're conversations that I have with people making a difference in the world or just doing things differently. And I'm so excited this afternoon because I'm welcoming to Off the Couch with Jessica Kiely. Jessica, welcome.
Thank you, Ruth. Lovely to be here with you.
Jessica, you're based in Sydney, is that correct?
Yes, I am here in
You
Bondi
are.
in Sydney.
Yeah, so the beautiful Sydney that nobody can get into at the moment, not if you live in Queensland anyway.
Yeah.
So Jessica, I've been snipping around on the website, so I'm just going to read off some notes here that I printed off about you. So you're an educator, a social entrepreneur, and you're passionate about the green beauty movement. Now, I've considered myself a little bit of a greenie, and I'm certainly passionate about the planet. But I have to be really honest that I didn't know that we had a green beauty movement going on. Could you explain to me exactly what that looks like?
Yeah, of course. And you're not alone there. There's many people who have never really thought about what's in their beauty products and how that might impact our planet. But yes, when we do dig into the ingredients list on many of the products that we're using every single day on our bodies, it is actually quite a Pandora's box when you open it in regards to those products. A lot of them are petroleum-based, which obviously is not great for the planet in terms of the getting of it and the manufacturing of it. Within the manufacturing of it, it often then can end up with all sorts of carcinogens in it, dioxins, which can impact our health along the way. They've found lead in lipstick, asbestos in talcum powder, all sorts of things in these products that we assume they're safe because they're sitting on the shelf for us to buy. But when you actually dig a little bit deeper into the science, it's not so much the case. So green beauty is the sort of new generation of beauty products that have taken the time to look into their ingredients and look at the impact of those short-term and long-term, look at the manufacturing and the sourcing of them as well. Many products have palm oil in it. And these days that palm oil is coming directly from Indonesia, where they're deforesting, old growth, amazing forests in order for us to have plantations of these palm oil trees, because it's quick and fast and you turn palm oil into all sorts of ingredients that end up in our beauty products and on our stores. So the environmental impact there is direct, basically. So green beauty products care a lot more about checking of ingredients. And there's even things like organic. You can get certified organic beauty products, certified natural beauty products, because most of them these days are actually just filled with synthetic ingredients that have been man-made because they're cheaper, basically. So you'll find that there's quite a range within what is called to be green beauty in order for it to be better for the planet and better for people.
So Jessica, I'm just sitting here, the hairs on the back of my neck have gone up and I'm thinking, God, what am I putting on my face and what perfume? And I have to be really honest with you, choosing perfume, I put it up there with choosing carpet. I will avoid it at all costs. And I think I've probably, I wait for somebody to buy it for me. And if I like it, well, I kind of sit on it for about 10 years because I just hate going in. Yep. To those major department stores where everybody jumps on you and, trying to sell their products. And my nose twitches like Samantha in Bewitched. I kind of come out there sneezing. If I go past one of those Bliss Blom kind of places, those things you put in the bar.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I just, here in Brisbane, there's one in the mall, and I just start sneezing like a crazy lady. So I kind of avoid doing anything in the perfume department. So I went online, and you've got like a little quiz that I had a little go at, because I don't know what a signature perfume looks like. And I have to be really honest, I don't wear a massive a lot of perfume because I'm really mindful of being around people that have got sensitivity to smells and things like that. And when I worked in government, I had a lot of staff, you just couldn't kind of risk it. So I just put a dab on here and there. In fact, usually the perfume carks it before I finish the bottle because I've had it so long.
Yeah.
So, but when we're talking about green beauty, we're not just talking. So can I just go back to what I did online? So I went on there and filled out the little quiz thing, and it told me all the ingredients that I should be looking for. Is that correct? Or did I get that wrong? And then I looked at it and thought, oh, that's too hard.
Yeah, so it would have taken you through getting a bit clearer on what scents that you like. Yeah, so are you more floral and you like a floral bouquet? Or do you like spicy oriental kind of smells? Or do you like fresh lime and tangerine type smells? So
yeah, that's me.
With choosing perfume, we often have a natural affinity or enjoyment of a certain scent profile, which will then help to choose, because yes, as you know, Ruth, there is so many to choose from, even in the natural space. Yeah. And as you pointed out, majority of mainstream perfumes, people have allergic reactions to. A sneeze, a runny nose, itchy eyes, they're all a histamine reaction. Your body is reacting to the ingredients within that product to say, this is not good. This is not good. And the thing with normal products is because we're using it every single day, the load that our body carries in terms of those toxins gets more and more, and then that's where chronic disease can be triggered, and then we have to do all sorts of things to help our bodies. So that particular quiz just helps you look at which scent profile feels more like you, to then see on our website. You can have a look at the florals, and you can have a look at the spicy scents, then that might make it easier to make a choice as to which of the natural perfumes you might be attracted to.
So with a lot of perfumes, I noticed, like, two women can stand together and have the same perfume, but it will smell differently on each of us because of our body makeup. With a natural perfume, does that happen as well?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
The temperature of your body affects smell. Where you are in your cycle affects how a smell reacts to your skin.
Menopause?
Whether you've got a lot of menopause, 100%, all of those hormonal changes will affect whether you even like the smell as well. Yeah. So a certain smell at a certain time of the month, you'll be like, oh my God, this is so good. And then later on, 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, I don't want that anymore. That's natural women's cycles, which is actually giving your body messages about what is good for you right now. And so definitely it can change from woman to woman. Even the mood that you're in will directly affect an enjoyment of it as well.
So our men folk, because we know the new age men, they're usually into the perfumes and things like that. Yeah. So in your range, does that accommodate the male as well? And are they as susceptible to the change in hormones as what women are?
So men obviously still have changes in hormones, definitely, but not as often high and low as women as often. Yes, because they don't have a menstrual cycle that is shifting all the time. But definitely hormones are what run our body. Hormones affect our appetite, affect our weight, affect our breathing, affect all sorts of things. And men have that just as much as women. And your sense of smell is affected by hormones too. So when a man is more stressed, different smells will have a different effect on them compared to when they're calm. So yes, there are men's natural perfumes or men's colognes as well, because there's just as many men who are affected by mainstream perfumes in a negative way, and or their partners that they're with can't stand them wearing those colognes anymore because they are having an allergic reaction to it and they want to find that alternative. So
the previous girlfriend bought it for him and she just wants to ditch it. And
True. You're not wearing that anymore.
No, it goes in reverse as well. So let's get on to the makeup. So the green beauty movement. So in terms of makeup, I remember I was over in France, I think it was about 2000, and part of that tour was to go to a perfume factory. And I'm a bit of a soap and water girl, and I don't care. I know I'm not supposed to be, but I am. It's a country girl in me. And I remember bringing home this beautiful bar of soap, and I've never been able to kind of get it anywhere since. But I do remember going in and they showed us how they made soap and how they made perfume and all that kind of stuff. And again, my nose was twitching all over the place and thought, oh, get me out of here. I've wanted to, so how would I start this journey? Basically, excuse me, how would I start this journey? So just say that the Chanel, whatever's sitting on my bureau at the moment, that was a lovely gift at Christmas time.
Yep.
I wouldn't pay $220 for a bottle. So where do I start? Where do I, so I do that quiz. So that quiz helps me, the online quiz that you've got on your website.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of perfume, where you can start is, yes, the quiz to give you a bit better of an idea. And then we have many of the brands that we represent that I've found, because it was very important for me to find the best quality ones. It's not just, you know, DIY ones. These are really good quality brands. The best thing to then do, we suggest, is some of them have these little mini packs. So they're like little samples. I can show you one if you want.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Yeah.
So you then get a chance to try the range, but in little sample packs in a way. That are a lot better, you know, value in terms of just trying a few, that will then give you a better idea of, oh, I've tried this one, I like that, or not so much this one. And it helps you to then ascertain which ones might suit you to buy then full size later on. In terms of your beauty products, the way that I suggest to start there is you start with the things that you use the most, your daily things. And even just start with one of those and do a bit of research into what are the alternatives. Because the wonderful thing now is that there is an alternative to everything, and they're really good quality. So in the past, natural products were seen to be not as good quality, or they don't last, or they don't do the job. But all of that is a myth now, and the quality is just as good. They often can last longer, and they're about the same price, if not a little bit cheaper.
What I'm seeing a lot of come through at the moment, Jessica, is things like in the essential oils and things like that, like the frankincense and what was the other one? The rosehip oil and all that kind of thing. And, you know, I think as women, we're always trying to kind of get rid of the wrinkles, or at least feed the skin. For me, it's about feeding the skin, because particularly in winter, it's quite dry. And so I'm always piling this stuff on and think, oh, this can't, it's not doing any good. So, but I have noticed, so the essential oils, are they a good way to go if they're a good quality essential oil for face?
So super important that it's a good quality essential oil. You want to be 100% sure that it is natural and or organic. And there's, you know, 2 brands that I trust in that sort of sphere. Mm-hmm. In terms of, yes, you can make your own perfume from essential oils with a good carrier oil. Yes. And at the beginning, that's what I did. And my daughter loves to do that as well. But I'm not a full-on DIY person, because I still love the bottles and having them there on the bureau, and they look pretty. Yeah. So essential oils are great for therapeutic use. Yeah. So you can have them in your oil burner or your diffuser that is in your air, in a way that helps to have a calming effect, or it can help to bring the bacteria and affect the bacteria in the room. But then that's not necessarily what you're going to wear as a perfume in a way. There are some natural perfume oils. So instead of it being a spray, so when it's a spray, it will have an alcohol base to it, but it'll be a natural alcohol base. And whereas an oil is going to be in a oil base, but with and then scented with essential oils, and it is a roll-on, so then you sort of roll it on.
Oh, I like those roll-ons. They're great, aren't they? I was just using one there this morning. I found it on my bureau and amongst 5 million other things, and I thought, oh, I like that. I like kind of rolling that thing around me. It just felt nice and cool. And I think for me, I'm intrinsically lazy. And having to go and do all the research and mix things up and, you know, I just can't do it. I just tell me what to do and I'll go do it. You know, like I'm a bit of a sheep like that. Or I always remember I have this amazing kinesiologist up here, and I'd had a session with her, and she used some beautiful oils and things like that. And I remember calling into the bike shop on the way home, and the gentleman behind the counter said, "God, you smell nice." And I thought, oh gosh, about 30 years too late, love. You know, like when you go into a bike shop, it just smells like, you know, rubber tires and all that kind of stuff. And it was really interesting that he, you know, probably a gentleman in his 40s, that he'd picked up that beautiful perfume. And I remember telling, a big shout out to Molly Brum, who's my kinesiologist, but it was interesting that it was a different type of smell or scent that he was admiring, and because it smelt nice to him. So can I go onto your website and can I just get my perfume and do everything there? Like, do I have to go?
That was the whole reason why I started the Natural Perfume Collective, is because, like you, Ruth, I do enjoy doing the research to begin with in terms of reason why I should make the switch. But then once, I've done that and go, okay, just tell me which one to buy now. Who can I trust, in a way, who I know has done the research and they've checked and they've tested these, so that then I can purchase from them. And that's, you know, I've got a few natural or green beauty websites that I buy my beauty products from, because I know that they curate them very carefully. And that was the idea for me with the Natural Perfume Collective, is those women who want to make the switch, how can I make it fun and easy and have it all in the one place? Yeah. Because at the moment, trying to find natural perfume is still very difficult. It's quite dispersed. Either you're going to your health food store or your health store, and then they've often got a very small range and or only essential oils, or you're trawling through the internet to try and see what it is that you can find. So that's why I've made it a collective. It's a collective of brands that I've found and checked and tested, so that then you can just come in and select. And as I said, once you've sort of done the quiz, then maybe it's trying the minis next, or just going on and going, oh, that one, I'll try a perfume oil to begin with, and going on from there.
So Jessica, do you have gift vouchers and things like that?
Yes.
I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking ahead to my Christmas present. I've already had a birthday and Mother's Day, so I'm kind of thinking ahead and thinking, okay, kids, guess what? Jessica, I spoke to you last year when we were in Sydney, and you put me on to some really good products. And one of my pet hates is sunscreen. I know that we're supposed to use it and all that kind of stuff, but I don't like it on my face, because it tends to get in my eyes, and I just the thought of chemicals on my face. But you put me onto a really good face sunblock, which was really good. So I was able to kind of wear that under my makeup. I can remember when the organic food movement started, and it was so hard to kind of get good organic food, and it was costing quite a bit of money. And and I kind of, but now, like, I've got one just up the road which I just love, and they also have a range of beauty products. But you know what my biggest beef is? The writing on it is so small that even with my glasses on, I can't tell what the ingredients are. And I've just got to hope that it's because it's an organic shop, that it's all good. But is that necessarily the case?
It's definitely better than Priceline or the supermarkets, for sure.
I'll do that.
So they will have done some vetting. For myself personally, I still don't trust it. I like to still do my own research. But that's also the role that I play for many of my friends and community, is they will often text me and ask me, can you check this? Is this one okay? And that's also why there's, only two kind of websites that I purchase my green beauty products from, because I know that they've done their research. One of them is nourishedlife.com, and the other one is Biome, biome.com.au. And in particular, I love Biome, an amazing Australian company. Both of them are, but Biome in particular does all palm oil free. So if you really want to make sure that your products don't have any palm oil in them, then they have all of the alternatives for everything from cleaning to laundry products, to soap, as well as your green beauty products too. They are very, very strict with what they let in. And the other thing that I suggest for people to use, there's a wonderful app that's called the Chemical Maze. And you can just pop that app onto your phone. And then when you're in store and you're trying to read the ingredients list, you might have to take a photo and enlarge it just a little bit.
That's what I've resorted to. Yeah.
That could be the way where you can then check. But really, if it sounds like a chemistry experiment, then it's probably better to put it down. Although a lot of the time on the labels, which makes it harder for us as consumer, they have to use what's called their INCI name. It's like an international standard. And even natural ingredients have to be written as their sort of chemical name, as opposed to lavender. It will then often have to have its chemical name as well. So we can sometimes get put off by that too, which makes it trickier. So it's about finding people and I guess retailers that you trust to begin with, and do the research on that, and then having the app on your phone if you need to be checking.
So just repeat again what the app on the phone is, please, Jessica.
It's called the Chemical Maze. So M-A-Z-E, the Chemical Maze.
Right. Okay, we'll put that up when this goes live. That's amazing. And I've been a bit of an anti-palm oil for a long time because of the deforestation of, of things overseas and the impact that that's having on animals and things like that. It's not real good for the body either, I would imagine, is it, like palm oil?
No, definitely. And it's and that's the thing, that's what's called greenwashing, because a product organization, a brand, can, if they use palm oil for their products, they can then say that it's naturally sourced and it's natural, right? All of a sudden, they're seen to be better than the others. And yet the environmental impact is not considered in that particular instance. It's only just that it's actually come from a plant as opposed to petroleum. So it's a cop-out and it's greenwashing. And even these days, certified, they have palm oil that's supposed to be sustainable palm oil. So there's a few brands that have signed up to be a part of the Sustainable Palm Oil Collective, and they're supposed to then only be getting palm oil from sustainable plantations that aren't deforesting. But apparently, as we would all understand, that in these small third world countries, some of that stuff just doesn't stand up, and it's not actually happening, unfortunately. Is palm oil any better than petroleum-based ingredients? Yes and no. So yes, it has come from a plant, but what they do in order to use that palm oil, it's like a chemistry experiment. So they basically pull the molecules apart and then make the molecules look synthetically, in a way, because it's now man-made, into a lavender molecule. So all of a sudden, palm oil has kind of then become lavender. So it's weird the way chemistry can work and how they can pull elements apart and then kind of reconstruct them to then make it into a new ingredient in a way, but it's replicating what's in nature. So that then it's a really interesting way in which we've tried to learn from nature and then replicate it synthetically. But then if you think about the energetics, so the natural charge or the real essence of a real lavender, and then something that's been created synthetically, they're not the same. Even though they may chemically look the same, your body doesn't recognize them. And energetically, from a metaphysical point of view, they're not the same. They don't have the same life running through them at all. So personally, that's one of the reasons why I choose natural, is because I want that connection to nature in its purest form as possible.
Yeah, that's right. So it's, the world's in a bit of a tiz at the moment, for want of a better word. It's been a bit of a tiz, and it's pivoting all over the place. One of the things that I've been heartened by is the clearing of our waterways. I was doing some research with my young grandson the other day when we were doing homeschooling, and it was around about turtles. And I was saying that in this particular place, I think it's here somewhere in Australia, that the turtles have now kind of breeding a lot better, and they're on the beach because there's nobody on the beach, you know, there's nobody out there ripping through with their, you know, the big noisy boats, and they're not kind of chucking stuff in the sea, hopefully. And I guess that I was heartened with that, with all, and I don't, part of me says, oh, I wonder how long that will last. And with everybody, I'll just go back to what this normal is going to be, which I don't think that's going to be the case. I think our normal is very different. Is there a chance that we can, with the green stuff that you're doing, with the perfumes and the makeup and the beauty products, do you reckon it might come up that it'll get a little bit more airtime, a bit more publicity, that it's a way to go? I mean, I think the whole warming and things like that, it just gets pushed off, you know, to the side all the time. There's always some other thing that's media worthy in somebody's mind somewhere. And we're losing that grip on the whole environment thing. What can we do, I suppose as a collective, as women, what can we do to kind of aid the green beauty movement, like we would any other type of environmental movement? I see it all being a little bit the same, because we're getting the products naturally anyway from the environment. But, you know, once the lavender's gone, the lavender's gone. And lavender's one of my favourite. But so what do we do? How do we start this? So I think for a lot of people, it's a bit overwhelming. And I think, oh, they're just like me. They use the same perfume for 10 years. And until somebody says, oh, it's about time you better have a change. But what's the first step?
Yeah. The first step is understanding that with our everyday actions and choices, it actually does make a difference. So knowing that your consumer dollar is like your vote in a way, your powerhouse every single time in regards to affecting the evolution of humans and the evolution of our planet in order for it to keep on going and be beautiful and clean up. So it's understanding that awareness to begin with, because sometimes we can feel like, oh, it doesn't matter, what I do individually isn't going to make a big deal, when actually the actions of the one individual is the thing that will create a collective and then move forward. And even if you think 5 years ago when I started to research in this area compared to now, it's been a huge upswing in this particular area and the awareness around it. So one is the awareness and belief that you can actually make a difference. And therefore, when you're making those purchasing decisions, it's taking that one little pause, that one little conscious pause to go, could there be an alternative to this? Maybe I'll just do a quick research, a quick check on Nourish Life or Biomi, or go to your local health food store, and instead of buying what you normally buy, choose to switch to something else that's a bit more mindful and a little bit more conscious.
We have a Biomi store at Paddington here in Brisbane, and I'm sure there's more of them around. I get in there and get very distracted. It's like a big shiny ball. I get in there and I think,
it's like going
come out with a toothbrush that's made of bamboo, or, you know, something like that. I go in for one thing and come out with 10, and I just get in there. I'm like a kid in a lolly shop or a toy shop, because there are things that you don't see traditionally, and I love the use of natural woods and things like that, and that really appeals to me. And I kind of feel quite righteous when I walk out with my bag, and, you know, I want everybody to see my Biome bag and things like that. But, you know, I don't know who's survived the shutdown. I don't know whether Biomi's around or what's happening. Have you heard anything on the...
Oh, I'm sure Biomi will have been fine, because I think the majority of their income is online. They started online. They didn't start as a retail store. Those retail stores are only just recent.
I'm very tactile, so I like to kind of go into the shop, and I bought a couple of things online during the pandemic, and I have to fess up, they've all had to go back, clothing wise, because I didn't get it right. So I'm just going to leave it to the young pups, and I'll wait for the shops to open and go in, because I am very tactile, and I do like to look at things and touch them and see them right up front.
I think though your tagline, Ruth, actually is relevant here in terms of think bold, not old. Our old way of thinking, our old patterns, our old conditioning. Oh, I'll just get it at Coles. Oh, well, this is what I normally use. That's what actually has to be broken. And we have to be bold to go, I'm taking just a moment and finding an alternative this time around.
And it's funny you should say that, because it was only up until about 2 weeks ago, because as you know, the Think Bold, Not Old was about thriving in your third act and contributing to the world and staying engaged, staying relevant, and showing up and stepping up and speaking up for the causes that matter in the world. But it suddenly dawned on me once the pandemic kind of really hit home, and I thought, you know, it is about the old thinking. We need to change our thinking around a lot of things and be more bold in how we go forward. And if it's in our beauty products, our perfumes and things like that, I've already made the shift as much as I can over to organic food, and it is way better. And I guess for families, it's always a little bit harder, but then if you're keeping out of the doctors, because I think for me, I've always had a thought, and I can't prove it, that a lot of the diseases, particularly the chronic diseases and, you know, the cancers and things like that, I still believe that there's a link to what I always thought to something we're eating, but listening to you today, I'm beginning to wonder whether it's not what we're wearing as well, in terms of the beauty products, the hair products. I've gone to organic hair products, things like that already, and cleaning products.
It's definitely true, Ruth, but it comes down to epigenetics. So epigenetics is that which sits above the gene. So we used to think that with genes and our DNA, it was all hereditary. If my dad got it, liver cancer, mum got breast cancer, whatever it may be, it's going to mean I'm most likely to get it. That was the previous or old idea of genetics. But all of the recent science is coming out to say it's the environment in which the DNA or the cells or the genes find themselves that directly impact on whether that gene gets switched on or switched off, stays closed and dormant, or becomes active. And our environment of our cell is a direct reflection of the environment that we find ourselves in. And that environment is our thoughts, that environment is our belief, that environment is the products we put on our skin, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the food that we drink. All of those epigenetic factors are going to impact on your health. And that is a direct reflection of it also reflecting the health of the planet at the same time.
Absolutely. I've just finished reading a book a little while back called The Blue Zones, and it's about the study around the world about octogenarians and those common links. And people say to me, why is it called the Blue Zone? Just because a guy had a blue texter and he had a map, and the researcher just kind of circled where they were. And it was interesting. I think there's one in California. And but one of the links that was very little meat, maybe meat once a year as a celebration. The other one was goat's milk over cow's milk, because obviously a lot of these areas where they've found these, the longevity was in these hilly kind of goat bearing kind of places, not for cows. And because the other one was this connection with family. They lived with within the family unit, so the mind, they were contributing to the family. And some of these people, they were kind of living and working still. And when I say working, they were tending to their goats or their sheep or whatever. And well up to 100 and beyond. And I thought, wow, you know, look at that. I just found it fascinating. In fact, I'm going to go back and read it again, because I get so excited, you know, they do it kind of a different area of the world in each chapter. And I think, well, what are you up to kind of now? And I was really amazed about the 7 Day Adventists. I think it was the Californian group, and, you know, because they don't eat meat and things like that. So I think that we've kind of got lots to learn, and because a lot of products are tested on animals, which for all us animal lovers is just absolutely abhorrent. And I kind of thought, I wonder who's getting tested with all these vaccinations and things that they're pushing through for coronavirus. But I guess
But
it's small
ultimately,
steps.
that's right. And ultimately, with the products that we're using and everything like that, when they test these products, or no, when they test the ingredients, they are actually only ever testing the ingredient in isolation, one at a time. Now, none of us are only one at a time putting these things on. We
No.
actually live in a chemical soup.
Yeah.
So we are the chemical
Yeah.
experiment, basically.
Oh, great. I might have to have that glass of organic wine tonight just to kind of settle myself and think. You think you're doing the right thing by buying organic, but I knew there was more to it, and that's why I wanted to bring you online today. Hey, Jessica, absolutely amazing. How can we follow you? So you've got a website, and that is.
Yeah, so you can find www.naturalperfumeco.com, or just put Natural Perfume Collective into your search and you'll find us.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously there's Instagram and Facebook on there where you can stay tuned and be inspired by what we've got to share.
Well, I just want you to do the work and just tell me what I've got to do. You see, as I said, I'm inherently lazy and I get into that chemical.
What perfumes on your bureau you like, and you just tell me the name of them. I will search those and see what their scent notes are, and then I can match it to one here for you.
I think it's Chanel 19 or something at the moment. But as I said, it was a gift for Christmas, and I, $220 a bottle. I thought, because I'm one of these people that when I come through customs, I run through the perfume. I just run because it's just an explosion in my nose. You've got off a plane, and the next thing I do give the grog section a little kind of just a little glance as I'm going past. Usually when I'm coming into Brisbane, getting off in Brisbane. But as for the perfume, I just run through there because my nose goes all over the place. It starts running and it starts twitching, and I'm just too overwhelmed with it. And you get on a plane or you're in a confined space anywhere and somebody's really decided to have a bath in their commercial perfume. It's actually quite nauseating. I always feel very sorry for women that are pregnant. It must be just horrendous. Jessica, I could talk to you for hours, but you've got to get on with your life. And it's Friday night as we do this chat. I'm so full of gratitude for having you in conversations off the couch, that you've given us ideas, or certainly for me and hopefully for my listeners, about how they can make a difference in the world, and or just do things differently, or think bold, not old, with the way that we think around our makeup and things like that. So if we go onto your website, we're able to kind of find information about the collective, about other organisations that are following this, the Green Beauty Collective. Yeah, is that right?
So on our website, you can find information about all of the natural perfume brands that we stock. Yes. In terms of other things happening in the green beauty industry, not so much, because we just like to talk about perfume and natural living for sure. So you can follow along for those things, but you'll find on the website there's also a way where you can work with me if you want me to do a shopping guide for you, which is all sorts of green beauty products that I can suggest. I'm happy. That's what I'm there for as well.
Yeah, I've got some of the suggestions that you gave me last year. I came home from Sydney and bought them all, and I was really, really grateful for that. And I think you were suggesting earlier that maybe the little travel pack of all the different ones, because I love to eat anything citrus. So like a lemon tart or a lime tart or something like that, because I like that kind of I don't know. There's a freshness in it. Even though my email address and all that's about sandalwood. There was nothing scientific about that. I'm not a big sandalwood lover, but yeah. So you've got some of the.
This is one of the brands. I don't know if you can. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
They're lovely little sample packs like this.
So will they match the little quiz that I did online? So does that match that, does it?
No, because this is just from one brand.
Oh, okay,
so from
right.
one brand, this is their range. What you'll see from your quiz, it will sort of say to you, you're more floral or you're more citrus. It sounds like you're probably more citrus. And then it can give you suggestions of ones that we have full size that are citrus. But if you're looking at the minis, these are like little mini sets, but they're from the brands themselves.
Yeah.
Then that's where you get to try a range.
Well, it'll be nice not to have to go and sit out in an orchard just to get the smell of citrus. I'll be able to have it in little bottles or something like that. And it's just, it must be just a country kid in me. I think I just love that freshness of citrus, particularly in the winters. Jessica, thank you so much for your time today. We'll put some information up when I go live with this. For my listeners and my viewers, you can find this up on the Ruth Reinhard YouTube channel. It'll also be on the Think Bold, Not Old social media as well. And it's bringing people together, as I said, who are making a difference in the world or just doing things differently. Hey, Jessica, thanks so much for your time, and we'll catch up with you soon. Okay, good night, everybody.
See you.